Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Floyd back with another review. Today we're going to be doing the Galaxy Note 10 Plus 10 months later. So I've had this phone since its release, and I think it was August that it came out last year. So it's about time to come out with another Galaxy Note 10. So these are the things that I enjoyed on this Galaxy, and what I hope to see on the next Galaxy Note 20 that's going to be releasing here soon. So first things first, I have the Galaxy Note 10 Plus with the 6.8-inch display. This has the 4K resolution and has the 60 hertz refresh rate. And one thing that I really want to see on the Galaxy Note 20 is the 120 hertz and able to use the 4K resolution at the same time. So the Galaxy S series is normally a reflection of what we're going to see on the Note series, like it or not, even though there's still some features that the Note series may have over the S series, or the S series may have over the Note series. But for the most part, the S series is pretty much what we're going to see on the Note series. But the S20 this year had the 120 hertz with 1080p or 4K with the 60 hertz. I don't like that. I would rather them give you the option to have both. Like, I could see what they're trying to do as far as like the battery life. You may have worse battery life, but if it's your phone, you want to enjoy it the way that you want to. You want to interact with your phone the way that you like it. You don't want to be limited to the bad battery life. And if you don't like the battery life, you should have that option to go in there and toggle it off if you want. This is like the Note series represents like the top of the line Android. Throw everything at it that you would want in a phone, even things that you wouldn't use. This phone is the one that you're supposed to have all of those features and some. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like they should do that for this Note series coming out. And they caught flat last year because they took out the headphone jack for the Note 10 Plus. I think this was the first flagship that came without a headphone jack. The S10 series still had the headphone jack, but they took it out for this phone. And now you can see on the S20 that they did the same thing. So from the Note 10 forward, I guess on the flagship phones, they're gonna be taking the headphone jack out. Okay, but on the budget phones, they're still doing it. But I guess they figure if you can spend so much money on the phone, then you can afford to buy their Galaxy Buds, which I really love the Galaxy Buds. Don't get me wrong, but not everybody want to buy those, or they want to use wired headphones because some people just like that extra quality, or they're like, I think you call them audiophiles or something. I don't know, but everybody should have that option. Like, you shouldn't stereotype people like, oh, well, you got this much money, so you can buy these. What's another $130, $150? You got $1,000 phone, but this should have everything. And they were making fun of Apple for doing the same thing, and then a couple of years later, here they are again. So, but yeah, that's what I would hope to see in the display. But this display is awesome. 10 months later, there's nothing touching Samsung's displays right now. Besides the refresh rate, the screen looks awesome. And another thing, for some reason, I think it's more of app development. Like, sometimes with my banking app, whenever I try to log in, it has a thing where you can use the fingerprint scanner and it'll work, but somehow it glitches out. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's not even gonna log in, so I'll just show you what I mean. All right. So this is my app right here, fingerprint. And now it's just stuck on this white screen. It does that every time. So the only way that I can check my banking account or do anything with my bank, I have to close the app, start it over, go back, and then type it in manually. But I think that's more of app development. I don't think it's because of my phone. Because whenever I use my iPhone, I use the Face ID. It goes straight in, no problem. And it wasn't always like that. Like sometimes, like I would say a few months ago, the whenever I first registered it, it was working just fine. But now for some reason, after using it a couple months, it just goes back. And I guess you got to keep going in there and messing with it, but that's not my thing. Like I just like to use it whenever I need it and be done with it. But I think that's more of app development than anything. And I'm starting to figure that out. You know, as far as like with Apple stuff, they don't have as many phones, nearly as many phones as Android phones. Like they have their own apps, their own app store, their own everything. And as far as the screen sizes between Apple devices, they're all relatively the same. You know what I'm saying? So whenever they come out with apps and they optimize them for the Apple phones, it's much easier to do it for that than it is for Androids. Because, you know, for a while, Android phones had the fingerprint scanner on the back. Some had them on the front. Some had them on the side, you know. Some have the Face ID or facial recognition. I guess that's what they call it on the Android side. Some had that, you know. So there's different ways to interact with it. So I think that's more of the software side of things. Another thing, my SPen. I use my SPen. Well, no, I take that back. I don't use my SPen nearly as much as I thought I would use it. There's this game called Flow. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but the SPen really comes in handy. I'm on the 14 by 14 grid right now, so you basically go on one side and try to meet with the other color. I'm doing a horrible job right now, but you basically try to meet with the other color without intersecting through the line. And you do that with all the colors until you figure out the puzzle. So I like puzzle games. It's really nice, and it keeps you busy whenever you're waiting or something like that. So that is the only thing that I've used my SPen for. And not all apps in the App Store allow you to use your SPen. So keep that in mind. There's some games that an SPen will give you an advantage, believe it or not. So I guess they were like, well, that's not fair, or they just simply haven't thought to put that feature into their app. But as far as the SPen, it works great. The battery life's great. For some reason, I've never got it to come off of 100. It's always been on 100%. Like I've tried to leave it out and just let it sit there for a while. I guess I haven't done it long enough. But I let it sit out there for like 30 minutes, and I come back and check, it's still on 100%. So I don't know. I can't get it to die. I know some people, they left it out like this, like the little thing ejected a little bit, and apparently that'll cause it to discharge. But I don't know. I haven't got it to die, so that's a good thing. The battery life on that is good. It's Bluetooth, and they got the gestures and stuff like that. So whenever you got the camera open, you can do gestures to switch to your front-facing camera. You can go to video mode, video recording. And you know, that's really good for like whenever, say you're taking a group photo and you got your phone set up all the way over there, you can take your SPen out, and if it's on the wrong side, you can flip the camera around and then you press the button on the SPen and take a selfie of you. I'll do it right now, actually. Show you what I'm talking about. So it's all the way over there. You hit the button. Good to go. And I'm showing you the photo. So that's pretty neat. I haven't, like I said, I haven't used it that much, but it's always good to have it, you know, and if there's ever a time that you need it, you know, you got it. Oh, and another thing, I really like how they integrated how you interact with the phone with the One UI 2.0. This is a big phone, and I have meaty hands. They're not really big hands, but I have a hard time reaching the top of the screen or the top left corner. So they've integrated it in a way where you can still do stuff with your with one hand. So like normally, if my messages were all the way up there, you see how I had the little blue thing up there? It'll stop the screen. But then you pull up one more time, and then you're able to reach the top. That's better than being up here and then trying to reach all the way to the top like that. You got light mode, dark mode, you know, all that stuff pretty much changes, and you're able to use it with one hand. This is the EV launcher. I made a video on this launcher that I'm using. But you can swipe down from the middle of your screen, get the notification, swipe up to get your apps. It just makes everything easier to use with one hand. With this phone running on 4K all the time, I'm still getting all the battery life with 20 to 30%. So that is really good, especially with, because it's supposed to kill your battery faster whenever you use 4K. But like I said, battery life is great. I'm enjoying the phone still. The video is pretty much over. I'm just ranting at this point, but I also want to get the iPhone 12 Pro or whatever the highest one is. I know a lot of people like iPhones, and I really want to step into that space a little bit more. I really want to get the AirPods Pro now, but my only thing is I don't know for sure, but there may be some new headphones that come out in a couple months. And the AirPods Pro has already been out for so long, and there's plenty of videos out there. So a lot of people have already made videos on it. And if you wanted them or you wanted to learn more about it, you already know pretty much about it because you watch everybody else's video. So it doesn't really make much sense for me to make a video on it quite yet. Shout out to CJ Knows Tech and C-Kid. Those guys are great. Played Warzone with those guys and having conversations with them. If you're into tech, you probably already subscribed to their channel, but if not, subscribe to their channel. Those guys are really great. Older guys, but they're really nice. They CJ specifically, you know, giving me tips on how to, you know, make videos and stuff like that. And that guy's really cool, you know, and he's just really chill, really laid back. And I appreciate him for his time, for, you know, his tips, and just having fun with us, you know. And it's a great opportunity to meet and, you know, to talk with him. And considering I'm basically a nobody on YouTube, it's really nice to, you know, for somebody that's successful, that I consider successful. I know he's not where he wants to be yet, but from where I am looking at him, he's, you know, he's up there. But, you know, we all striving toward the same thing, but I really appreciate him for that. We out here. I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all be blessed, and I'll see you.